I tie this one. I've actually done this once before. The Pattegrisen, or the pink piglet, but it's been a while, and I think I want to do this, redo this. Also, because this fly really deserves a lot of credit. Also, I'm gonna do it a bit different because because of whiting and the availability of spay hackles. I'm gonna do this with is so limited as it is. I'm gonna do this with the grizzly, the grizzly salmon pink instead of the salmon pink, in order to show you that this actually looks as good, perhaps even a bit better than the original pattern. Because for some reason I cannot get my hands on any of the salmon capes, but I have managed to get some of the salmon grizzly ones. See if that's better. Yeah, that is better. Way better. Oh, sorry about that. It was just have to change some lighting. So, basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a teal feather, if I can locate them, which is a small feather with a lot of contrast in the markings on the feather, something like this, and I'm simply gonna pull back some of these like this, and then I'm gonna rip off the top, because the top is gonna make my tail hair look boring and completely uniform. So we don't need that. Well, basically what I have left is a bundle of feather tips, and I'm gonna use these as mouth parts or tail of this fly, like so. Perhaps that should be a bit shorter, something like that. And then I need a bit more. I think I'm gonna take another feather and just strip some sides off this. I'll tie this down as well, like so. And as you can see, I've added a bit of non-lead wire, or if you're outside of Denmark, you probably are allowed to use lead, then use lead, feel free to use lead, but in Denmark we are prohibited, simply to weight this down. And the reason why I haven't attached it to the underside is this is a shrimp, but it's not going to have a shell. It's gonna be uniform all the way around. So whatever way the hook is in the water, it's gonna fish great, and this is gonna go the correct way, with the weighting as it is. So like that, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take on the original pattern for this, you use two of the good sized feathers, but these capes cost quite a bit. So instead of using two of the correct sized feathers for the body Parma hackle, I'm gonna use some of these big feathers up here from the end of the cape, here up near the top of the cape, because these are too large to actually be used as hackles, but they work great for making a false hackle down here. So this way you can actually have, for the double amount of you can use your cape for twice as many flies, because if you use this little trick, you will only use one of the really good the good sized hackles per fly instead of two, as in the original. So basically what I do is I take this big feather and I try to bundle up all the hackles, all the hackle I don't know what they're called, the hackle fibers, so they're aligned pretty much the same length. And then I'm gonna take all the long ones, pull them down so they're gonna match with the rest of them. And I'm gonna repeat that process until I have something that is fairly uniform, not completely uniform, of course, because that's not good either, but something that is fairly uniform like this. And then I'm gonna tie this down so it's gonna come all the way around the hook, imitating a hackle, like so. And as you can see, this almost looks like a hackle now, which is what we're going for. like so. And then in order to get something that sticks a bit further out and gives the illusion of antennas and stuff like that, I'm gonna take a bit of pink bucktail. Not much, just a little bit of pink bucktail here. Bucktail is nice for this because it's relatively stiff, so it will not as much. Of course, in an infinite universe, anything is possible. But these will not have as big a tendency as much other stuff to be attached to the simply get tangled with the hook here, like so. Simply to make it a bit more bulky. Cut that off, and then I'm gonna make a small amount of a small bundle of dubbing here to have something to shape where the ice is gonna be. So I simply take a small amount of shell pink SLF saltwater, like so. Then I'm gonna tie down the ice, and I use the Easy Shrimp ice. And if you don't know these, then you're in for a treat, because these are truly awesome. Here are 3 different colors: black, fluorescent orange, and fluorescent yellow. And as you can see, they really shine on the UV light. And what they are is simply ice attached to kind of like a stick or something like that that has barbs on it, dentations, so your fly will never become a pirate. And you will never have a private shrimp anymore, because your eyes will simply stay on there. I'm gonna tie this down here, like so, on top of the hook here, like that, and really clamp down on the tying thread, cut off the thingy there, and then simply just take my tying thread further and further up towards the dubbing here. Come on. To ensure that my eyes are located and pointing out where I want them to be, like so. So they stick out, are highly visible, but still are secured are fastened very securely, like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the other of the 2 feathers, of the 2 large feathers that we did before, and again I'm gonna try to gather as many of the hackle fibers as possible here in a bundle, like that, like so. Cut off all of that crap. And as you can see, again, I have a small bundle here of feathers. And actually, with this technique, you can get an even better result than with a hackle. That depends. Okay, that depends on when you do the hackle, of course. And then you simply take these and you add them here on top of the fly here, like so. I'm not completely satisfied with that result. That's okay. No, that really is not good enough. Let's see if this is better. Yeah, that's better. Something like that. Good. And now what we need to do is actually basically just to make a palmer hackle with the spay feathers, and we're done. But also we need, of course, some some rib, because some ribbing, because this fly, as I told, is of course a bit expensive due to the spay cape. So we want naturally we want this fly to be as durable as it possibly can, because well, because we don't want to tie a million of these simply because they're a bit expensive. So I've tied down the rib here. I'm still not 100% satisfied with this. I think I need a bit more. I think I need a bit more fibers. Oh, crap, sorry. So as I was saying, I need a bit more, so I take another of these large feathers, and don't worry, you're not gonna run out of those. There are plenty of on your capes. Probably if you have a spade cape already that is used up, you will notice that there is quite a lot of these still on there. On these large ones. So like that. Basically this one I want to have a bit more all around the hook. Like that. So far so good. Just gonna tie some of this down here. If this looks a bit messy, then that's okay, because we're gonna cover all this as dubbing, like so. I mean, yeah, you can use a lot of times on getting everything to look exactly as yeah, but basically you don't need to. It's just a fishing fly, so yeah, you of course you want your flies to look good, but and be presentable and catch fish, but yeah, they're meant for fishing, you know. So I'm taking a salmon spay grizzly, and as you can see, it's not very grizzly. It's basically just salmon, the color, and I'm gonna tie this down in the thick end of the feather where the hackle fibers are longest, and this is because I want this to taper, but I want it to taper up towards the head, meaning that I want the longest fibers down in the bottom of the fly where the head is, where the shrimp is most bulgy. So that's why. So like that. And here you would normally add some shell materials and stuff like that, but you know, I mean, this is designed to fish, and this is designed to be as good for fishing as possible, without any extra things just to look good. This is the model that I fish with. This is the model that I've been looking at the original pattern and basically just stripping it as much as I can, while still maintaining the idea of the fly. Because when you tie a lot of flies and you fish a lot, I myself personally like flies that catches, first of all, a lot of fish, but secondly is easier to tie, and this is more easy than the original. This is more easy than the original, and I don't think that any key elements is lost in the shrimp. I think that the main element that really makes this fly stand out compared to a lot of other flies I've fished and used is the spay hackle. I really must say that the spay hackle is unique because it looks so goddamn awesome in the water, and well, there's basically not anything that you can do to actually get that same effect. You can get fairly close with craft fur. If you use a sparse dubbing brush of or dubbing loop with craft fur, you can get close to the effect of the spay hackle, but only close. So basically, what makes this fly so unique and so special, and also why I think it really catches so many fish as it does, is because these space feathers really makes this fly look like food. It really gives the fly this transparent and great movement in the water that really I think any trout would associate with. Oh well, that's all right. That's probably food. I'm gonna eat that. I don't know if trout thinks that. I think that mainly trout thinks is something like that. But this fly for some reason triggers something in the trout. It just does. It simply does. And the only component that is different from this than loads of other flies is the spay hackle. And once you see this, if you haven't seen it yet in the water, I think you will agree with me that the spay hackle really adds something amazing to this fly, or basically to any shrimp flies. There's a lot of different shrimp using the spay hackles, and with good reason, because basically it's awesome. So cut off this like so, and then I'm gonna turn the ribbon here the other way around to ensure that this fly is as strong and as durable as possible. And as you can see, I've not used a lot of dubbing because I want this fly to be transparent and not to be too bulky, because too much bulk is not going to make this fly look like the real thing. It's or at least have the movement. I know the color is probably a bit off if you compare to the real thing, but it's going to have the right silhouette in the water, and fish will see this fly from underneath, so the silhouette is nice. Then I'm gonna take my sabagap and just add a bit of sabagap to my tying thread here. Simply not a lot, but just a bit here to ensure that when I make the next turns and I do my whip finish, that this fly will be even stronger, even more durable, and last for, let's say, 10 sea trouts. I think that 10 sea trouts is is a fair amount for a fly to last. Whip finish on top of this, like so. Clamp down. And of course, this is not done now. Now I need to brush it with my comb, because the hackle is all over, and we need to pull out some of the dubbing and stuff like that, also to make this look even more transparent. And there, the CF Design needle is actually pretty good because it has both options in one. Just pulling out the dubbing here. This fly has been in my box constantly, and at the end of my leader, almost, I would say, maybe 60, maybe 70% of the time of my fishing for the past 4 or 5 years or something like that, because it simply is just, well, basically it outfishes anything else I know. And maybe the Brenda is a close second, but besides the Brenda, this fly really is the bomb. When Claus Eriksen from Go Fishing, another Danish shop, quite a larger shop than my little web shop. He's the inventor of this fly, and he's the one who has actually made this famous. And he's probably one of the best sea trout fishermen in Denmark, one of the best at least I have ever encountered. He designed this in well, at least he was the first to make this in pink. Another guy called Morten Øland made this in grey first and called it the Øland shrimp, and then Claus picked up the pattern and simply just did it in this shell pink color, and he also is very fond of this. He catches a lot of fish on this fly as well, and this is one of his favorite. He's the one who's made it famous, and with good reason, because this fly needs to get out there, because it will help you get a lot of sea trout. Like so, there it is, the Pattegrisen. A very good fly. Just gonna see if I can get something so you can actually see it. Yeah, that's better. The Pattegrisen. Thank you for tuning in.